What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So, in one of my recent videos, I was in a barbershop and I was discussing who was the best players to ever come out of Chicago. And I actually made a video discussing who I felt like was one of the best players I had ever seen. And I excluded Derrick Rose from that conversation because it goes without saying. But I really want to talk about Derrick and why Chicagoans were not surprised that Derrick became what he became when he got to the league. You see, I remember watching Derrick for the first time during his junior year at Simeon. And I promise y'all, I knew he was gone. Like, for real, Derrick could have went straight out of high school to the league. He was just that damn explosive, that good. I had never seen a player with that type of first step, that type of explosion off of his first step like that. He blew by a defender so easily. He did it in high school. But Derrick was such a humble person. He really did not. He really was trying to chill and let the rest of his team get off. He really wasn't the type of player that really wanted to go for 40 and 50 unless he had to. Because he was a chill dude. You know what I mean? He really was team oriented. And he really didn't want to seem like he was just trying to do too much at times. Which is why in the state championship game, when they won their last state title, Derrick only had 2 points in the state title game, even though they blew the team out. He let his other teammates, Tim Flowers, score Tim had like 35, right? He let them go ahead and get off and get their scholarship offers and he let them have their moment. They already had their scholarship. But he let them get their moment and let them shine. But Derrick's athleticism was unmatched for a guard. I had never seen a guard that could really I'm talking about explode and launch off the ground like that. I'm talking about reverse pumps, windmills, full extensions. He was doing all of that, catching oops on breaks. And I'm talking about even Russell Westbrook. Russ, I really feel like his athleticism ascended throughout his years in the league. He was hella athletic, but I felt like his athleticism ascended during this time in the league. Derrick was already like a dynamo. He was like a blur. And it was nobody that could stay in front of him. It was just a matter of him just continuing to just be aggressive and whether he wanted to be selfless or not. He was such a selfless dude. At times, he just let his teammates do their thing at times, right? But I promise y'all, from, again, the athleticism, the ability to finish through contact, you could put an elbow in his face, in the side of his head. You could elbow him in the chest and the stomach. He still can figure out ways to finish through the contact. And it was just an uncanny ability to draw and one, to get to convert and one plays all the time. And that's when I knew that this is not a guard that's going to be bullied or pushed over in the league. And I think Chicago knew that too. Going to them Simeon games, like I always tell people, man, the Chicago Red South and Red West divisions were brutal. They were rigorous. He was going up against killers on a regular basis. Red West had Patrick Beverly. You had DeAndre Liggins at Washington High School, Mario Little and them at Washington. You had, again, Ryan Harriman was at Marshall. You had, even going out to the suburbs, he was going up against Evan Turner. He was just always lined up against dominant competition. And he showed up and showed out every single time. And you could tell he was athletically more mature, physically more mature, and mentally more mature than a lot of players on the court. He had just this uncanny ability of being wherever he was, like being in the right place at the right time and getting, even as a point guard, I was seeing him in high school getting his teammates high percentage shots where they were, in their sweet spots. You know what I mean? And, people could talk about Derrick's inability to speak publicly at the time because he was so introverted. But what I noticed from him was his basketball intelligence was high, very high. I would see him, let's just say he missed a shot or he took a shot that may have been ill-advised a little bit, right? Because he was feeling it. I would see him come down and recover, come right back down court, and while the opposing team is dribbling up the court, he would come behind him and slap and knock the ball out of their hand and gather the steal. Things like that to make up for plays where he felt like he didn't give his best effort or he didn't make the right decision on. I'm speaking about the athleticism and the ability to finish through contact, but that just it made him stand out. It was like, well, how do you stop that? How do you stop a guard who can get up the court in three? I watched him get up the court in like 3 dribbles. In the league, saw him do it too. NBA level length courts go up the court in like three or four dribbles. You know what I mean? At that point, dude is a blur, and you're going to be fighting to stay in front of him all game. Then Derrick 6'3", so he was able to shoot over smaller guards, and then he could jump over them to in order to get certain shots off. He could contort his body extremely well in order, again, to finish through contact and to be able to shield off the defender, the rim protector. So yeah, man, just Derrick just had everything you could think of. When Derrick was at Simeon, they were the first Chicago public league team to win back-to-back state titles. Now, you all may or may not know Jabari Parker eventually broke that record. He won four straight state titles at Simeon, which is unbelievable, right? But Derrick was the first one that started that off. They went downstate. A lot of the Chicago public league schools would lose to teams downstate. Derrick no one having that. They was not going. Even John Shire and them hitting the game-winning shot to win the state title against John Shire and all of them. He got them boys up out of there. John Shire, who coaches Duke currently. So yeah, man, I never seen nothing prolific as dude. And I've seen a lot of great players come through Chicago. I watched Sean Dockery as a young kid. I've watched Jabari Parker, Kendrick Nunn. I watched Wayne Blackshear. I watched Billy Garrett Jr. I watched Charlie Moore when I was an adult. I was watching him coming back home, watching Charlie play at Morgan Park. I've seen, I'm trying to think of some other people. I've seen, because I said some, I'm trying to think. I've seen Jaleel Okafor. I've seen glimpses of Cliff Alexander. But Derrick just, I don't know, man. Dude was on another level. And honestly, being for real, if he was a little bit more selfish, Derrick could have been Mr. Basketball every single year he was in high school. He was just that advanced. And again, it wasn't nothing you could do against dude, man. Wasn't nothing you could do against dude. I've seen him go into hostile environments and shut the crowd up and look at him with a stone cold killer face, a stoic face, and get them boys sturdy. Dunk all on the team, calling for oops, going to the court, going to the rim, crossing dudes over because he had the little hesitation. That little hesitation he had was what? That's what got Tyreek Evans crossed up like that. And Andre Miller now, man. He was just a different individual, different type of basketball player, and he was the epitome of Chicago basketball, which is why we Chicagoans saw it coming when he got to the Bulls.